Ashe! Ashe and Grand Rising once again to you all my very beautiful people. Yes, you my highly enriched melanin people. You the earth's original and organic humans, aka my fellow Africans. Yes, it is I, the Mystic Philosopher. And yes, it is quite evident that I'm still here with you on this side of reality. Me no gone yet, I'm not done. I just come. Hey. And welcome back to the Mystic Peace, talking again on the 15 minutes with I, the Mystic Philosopher. And please excuse me if I go a little bit over because I didn't get time to edit my notes. So if I go over, please understand. Anyhow, this is episode 58. Now the main topic, of course, of this series of talks is stress on the mind. We're talking about stress, or more correctly, the impact that this thing called stress has and is having on the thing that we humans call mind, at least in the English language, mind. Now, and that from I, the Mystic Philosopher's perspective, the solution to this problem or to this disease called stress can be and may be found in and by understanding and understanding the want equation. Namely, want is equal to money, which is equal to stress, which is equal to unhappiness. And also by putting into practice the knowledge that can be gained from this profound equation. And the quote that I am using and have been using to illustrate my points is from the Adamic Race History book in accordance to the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Now, in some of my previous episodes, I asked that you please meditate on the want equation, namely, want is equal to money, which is equal to stress, which is equal to unhappiness, and see what you can or what you may learn and derive from it for yourself. In other words, evaluate it for yourself and see if it makes any sense to you personally. Now, in my last episode, which was episode 57, I spoke about shepherd. And in doing so, I also told you that it is the unconditional job, responsibility, and obligation of shepherd or of a shepherd to take care of its sheep, of his shepherd to take care of his sheep. Yeah, and that is why the sheep, aka the psalmist called David, King David, was able to so very confidently and boastfully say and wrote that his shepherd, who he identified by name, is doing his job of being a shepherd. Quote, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. David said that proudly and confidently and assuredly. In today's episode, which is 58, I will again share some more of my thought-provoking perspectives and insights while answering the following question. What is the purpose of a God? Whatever or whomever you may conceive him, her, or it to be. And just for your information, if I am still here with you on this side of reality, sometime in the future, I will again answer and share with you some more of my thought-provoking perspectives and insights on these two questions. What is God? And does God exist? I will talk about that another time. I spoke about it already. I'll get back to it. Now, from my Mystic Philosopher's perspective, the purpose of a God, listen carefully now, the purpose of a God, or the purpose of the thing or person called God, or a God, is simply to offer and provide an individual or a group of people, or a race of people, or a nation of people, guaranteed protection, guaranteed security, guaranteed provision, guaranteed guidance, guaranteed knowledge, guaranteed understanding, overstanding, and wisdom in order to ensure its happiness, or in order to ensure our overall life's happiness, in order to ensure that we do not want or be found, in order to ensure that we are not found wanting, and that we will have and live a fulfilled life of joy and pleasure. Now, please note that I did not say that the purpose of a God or the purpose of the thing called God is to provide protection, security, provision, guidance, knowledge, understanding, overstanding, and wisdom. But I specifically said and used the word guaranteed, meaning assurance. And why? It is because if these essential things, aka these essential elements of and for our lives are not guaranteed, then the idea or the concept of God or the concept of a God is completely irrelevant. It's meaningless, useless, senseless. And there would be no need or no purpose for God or a God. Now, from my perspective, a practical example of God or a practical example of a God is our parents. We know that from From them, we came to be in this physical body. And we know that it is because of them and the guaranteed protection, guaranteed security, the guaranteed provision, guaranteed guidance, guaranteed knowledge, guaranteed understanding, overstanding, and wisdom that they have provided us why we survived and are still here today. I might even take the liberty and say, metaphorically, of course, that our parents were our shepherd and all we had to do as children was live and full joy life to the max. Just like a carefree and careless sheep. Until maturity, of course, and it became time for us to be adults and parents ourselves and return the favor. And why return the favor, you might ask? It is to ensure that the cycle of life continues. Also, in my last episode, episode 57, I showed you and explained to you that the psalmist allegedly, the psalmist and alleged author of this, the 23rd Psalm, was able to speak very confidently, very proudly, very boastfully, and quite unapologetically about his God named Yahweh as being his shepherd and Lord, and by extension his parents as well. And that as a result of his knowledge and assurance of who and what he, the psalmist, was, meaning he knew, the psalmist David knew himself and who and what his ancestors were and is, and who and what his God, aka his shepherd, was and is. He was able to very confidently, very proudly, very boastfully, and quite unapologetically speak or spoke and wrote as a living testimony his experience and liberty with his God in the said Psalm 23. Now, here is a word of caution from I, the Mystic Philosopher, to you, my melanin African people, aka my African people. Not because we may see, hear, or even know of someone, parents, or by extension, someone's God or shepherd taking care of them, or because we may see, hear, or even know of someone talking and boasting about their parents, aka their God, taking care of them. For example, buying and giving to them the most expensive gifts and electronic gadgets, you name it, or you name them, means that we that are not even related, we that are dead strangers, must now go and try to claim or go and try to attach ourselves to them. Them meaning try to attach ourselves to someone's parents that are to someone's God. And by doing so, we now expect the same results. By doing so, we expect to be treated the same as how they treat them or they treat their own. By doing so, we expect to be treated as equal or to be treated equal to their blood, to their sons, to their daughters, let alone expect to be treated better than blood, better than their sons and daughters, and better than their heirs and successors. It don't make sense. From I, the Mystic Philosopher's perspective, that is not only impractical and nonsensical, but it is definitely not wise. That is foolish. That is a fool's dream. In fact, the evidence will also show that to do so is to be functioning from the paradigm of want. Thou shalt not want. It's to be functioning from the paradigm of red eye, ignorance, inferiority complex. It's to be functioning from the paradigm of jealousy, deceitfulness, greediness, ungratefulness, bad-mindedness, your bad mind, wickedness. In fact, it's to be functioning from the paradigm of pure evil. But more on that another time. In other words, not because we may see and hear the Adamic man, aka the psalmist David, very confidently, proudly, and very boastfully, and quite unapologetically, and rightfully so, he has a right to be that way, saying and testifying that his God, his Lord, his Elohim, his parent named Yahweh, is his shepherd, means that we, the earth's pre-Adamic humans, we the Earth's natural native earthly humans, we the Earth's original and organic humans, we the Earth highly enriched carbon-skinned and highly enriched melaninated humans, aka my fellow Africans, we fellow Africans can or we must now forsake and abandon who and what we are and who and what our parents are, aka our God and ancestors are, and now go and try to attach ourselves to the Adamic God Yahweh. That make no sense. And start claiming the Adamic God's Yahweh and start singing, shouting, saying and proclaiming that he Yahweh is our shepherd and you shall not want. The evidence has shown and the evidence is still showing that it hasn't worked. It won't work. And it cannot work for us. Or work in our favor. Not at all. In fact, the people that I personally know of having the most want in this world, and that is living and functioning from the paradigm of want, are those of the people that subscribe to the Adamic God. In fact, they are some of the most sulky, unpleasant, and needful people, to say the least, I might add, that I personally know. They are always begging and praying and pleading to the Adamic God for something. No wonder he must be tired of them. The fact is that just because some of our parents are designed, listen carefully now, are designed, defined, marginalized, set up, caused to be, and are labeled by the said wicked and adulterous system and its evil administrators as deadbeat parents, as deadbeat fathers, as deadbeat mothers, meaning that we should or that we must disown them, we must abandon, to reject and forsake them meaning our own parents. And what the system won't tell you or tell us is that to do so is to do so at our own peril. In other words, any child that dishonor his or her father or his or her mother is doing so at his or her own peril. Or to be even more direct, is to do so at his or her own most certain and serious disaster. Is to guarantee the most certain and serious disaster. Now please note me, please quote me, and tell anyone that I, the Mystic Philosopher, said that any child that disobey or dishonor his or her parents is doing so at his or her peril. He or she is riding for the most certain fall. He or she is guaranteed to fall. And I have lectured on this topic, aka this command and commandment elsewhere, but I will most definitely talk about it another time. For even in the said Adamic race history and holy book, it is written as an unconditional and as a non-negotiable command and commandment. And what does it say? Come on, don't interfere with me now. Come on. Yeah, as a non-negotiable commandment and commandment, aka commandment, as I explained to you before, mean order of the mind. That was stolen, I might add. It was stolen from us. It's not new. They take it from me. But let me continue. And I quote, honor your father and your mother that your days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God is giving you. This is found, unquote, this is found in Exodus 20, verse 12 in the New International Version of the Atomic Race History and Holy Book. And so, if anyone thinks that they can get away dishonoring their parents, they're making a very, very, very sad mistake. And by extension, the same is true of our most honorable ancestors and our most honorable ancestral God and gods, etc., etc. For here again, we see written in the said Adamic Race History and Holy Book, the unconditional command and commandment, and non-negotiable, I might add too, you shall have no other gods beside me or before me, Exodus 20, and again verse 3, New International Version. So in wrapping up this for today, I will again repeat some of what I have said to you in my last episode on this fact, and that is from I, the Mystic Philosopher's perspective. If you are a sheep, or if you, my melanin people, that call yourselves a sheep or call yourselves sheep, and especially if you are a converted sheep that has knowingly and consciously disowned and abandoned your parents, and is knowingly and consciously disowning and abandoning your own heritage, your own story, aka your own history, your own bloodline, your own people, your own ancestors, your own ancestral race, your own ancestral God and gods, cultures, traditions, and spiritual practices, etc., etc., and has now claimed or is now claiming that you have subscribed to the Adamic shepherd, aka the Adamic God, the Adamic Elohim, Lord, Yahweh, Jesus Christ, and Yahushua, Messiah, etc., and the God or shepherd that is being spoken of in the 23rd Psalm. And if you are not living, experiencing, and demonstrating life like the aforementioned sheep with a shepherd, and can hereby testify to these facts like the shepherd called King David, Or if at all you want and is found wanting, then either one of the following is or all the following are true. One of the following is or all are true. Correct that for me. Number 1, you are a liar. Number 2, you are a fool. Number 3, you are deceived or you are being deceived. Number 4, you don't have a shepherd. Number 5, you have the wrong shepherd. Number 6, you are in the wrong pasture. Number 7, the sheep that you have is the shepherd that you have is an imposter. Number 8, your shepherd is either dead, subdued, exiled in prison, or has run away. Number 9, your shepherd is no damn good. And meaning he or she is grossly incompetent and don't even deserve to be called a shepherd. And I could go on and on and on, as I said in my last piece. So just pick any or all of those that best fits you and your current condition, your current situation as a sheep of Yahweh or as a sheep of the Adamic God. And all I'm asking you is that to yourself be true. You don't have to come and tell me what answer you come up. Just to yourself, if you can be that honest. Again, thus far for today, where am I? Wow. And thus far for today's episode, I honestly think that I have given you, or at the very least, I honestly think that I may have given some of you, if not all of you, a lot more to think about and possibly a lot more to look forward to in my next episode, especially as it relates to stress, the seed called want and the want equation. And so in the interest of time, I just think I must stop and pause here for today and ask that you please join me if or when next I'm talking again, possibly in episode 59, where and when I will be talking and sharing with you more of my perspectives and insight on this thing, on this magical and the magical, mystical, metaphysical aspect of the word want and the command and commandment you shall not want, and hopefully continue answering the question and give more examples of how to get rid of want, and by extension stress. For I shall not want, you shall not want, we shall not want, nor should we be found wanting. In the meantime and between time, my people, please let me again remind you that yesterday's history too is dead and gone, no more to come back. Tomorrow is a mystery, it too may never come, but today is a gift, and that is why we call it the present day. And so I hereby implore you, I'm imploring you to live for today, and by live I mean claim your natural birthright. Please do take time to smell the rose. And just in case you do not know what that is, or may have forgotten, it is your happiness and full joy today. And let's hope for tomorrow, for it too may never come for you or for me or for I, the Mystic Philosopher. And again, I thank you for your time and thank you for listening. I am the Mystic Philosopher. Ashe, 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 I say.